Third time is a charm. I have filmed this video twice. This would be the third one. Hey y'all, welcome back to Books and Boarding Passes. If you're new here, my name is Taylor, and today we are going to be chatting about Fallen Crest High by Taijan. I never pronounced anything right on this channel. What's new? Super cute today. This is actually not the first time that I've read this book, let alone this series. So I'm going to try my best to make sure that I'm only including the information from this first book. There is like a novella that you can read before this. I started reading these before it came out. And so I'm just going to go ahead and like do this in order. I did decide to read this book for the Biblio Games as one of my challenge books for a trashy YA book. And I don't know why I put quotations on trashy when the quotations should have been on YA book. Anyways, I'm going to try to give as many non-spoiler review points as possible because I do know that this is a less popular author. And I want to give y'all as much like feedback as I can because I don't think as many people will have read this book enough to watch the spoiler section. So I'm going to start out by giving this book a C+. And I know I'm thinking like, let me get close to this camera and talk to y'all. Why are you giving this book a C+ and you've read it so many times like you just stated? And that is because see, look. I'm a trash can. That's why I'm filming this video with a lozenge in my mouth. I'm not even sick. And since I'm a trash can, I like trash. I like to consume trash. And let me tell you, the Fallen Crest series is the best kind of trash in my opinion. And I will continue to read it. And this won't be the last time I read it either. It won't be. So let me tell you a little bit about this book. This book is the first out of who knows how many books in this series. And it follows the life of a junior 17-year-old girl named Sam. And within the first like chapter or two of the book, you find out that her parents have just gotten divorced. And she found out that her boyfriend of 2 years was cheating on her with her best friend. Classic. So, while she's trying to navigate through all this, Sam then has to move with her mom, with her new boyfriend, and her new boyfriend just so happens to have 2 sons around her age. So just imagine for a second, you're a 17-year-old girl. You go to a private school, your dad's the coach of the football team, and then all of a sudden, one day, your mom's like, deuces, I don't love your dad anymore. Let's go live with this rich guy. And you got to move in with a house with these 2 other guys. I say other guys like she's a guy. She is female. And they're around your age and you're an only child. So 1, you've never lived with other people your age. Then 2, you definitely weren't forced into a situation that's already hard enough. But then these guys are like, of course, smoking hot. Am I allowed to say that? Because one of them's underage. Cancelled. Anyways, so you could see where the problems are going to arise. The heat is going to rise and there's going to be issues. Because take the guys out of the scenario, this already is like a hot mess, this girl's life. So you just follow through that whole scenario. And the first book is just everybody kind of trying to get used to the situation and like find the best happy medium. And so I do feel like I need to explain after that huge ramble why I give this book a C+. The characters can be seen as problematic, especially the male characters. I've realized that my problematic scale for male characters is pretty high, which I hate to say, but I don't know. I see people's opinion about the guys get a little physical sometimes, not with their love interests, but with males, and then sometimes even females. And I just feel like if you have not read those and that is going to be triggering for you, please don't read this book. It is very borderline. Some of you might say, no, it's not borderline, it's way over the line. Just wanted to give y'all a heads up about that. So let me get situated. Also, the author really lays into the whole high school thing, because you have Sam, and because her dad is the coach of the football team at the private school in their town, it goes into depth about like all of her friends at that school and their dynamic and everything, and it's very like typical trashy, cliquey kind of high school setup, which is something that I don't really remember being prevalent at the high school I went to. But also, I went to high school in like a larger town. It wasn't like everyone knew each other kind of thing. Anyways, well, then you have Mason and Logan. Those are the new boyfriend's sons, and they actually go to the public school, even though they are significantly more wealthy than Sam and her family. And so then you have all of their friends in that dynamic. So you have two completely different schools of people. And for some reason, the author felt the need that we needed to know like every single person that was enrolled there and all of their girl drama. And the girls, oh my gosh. I'm just going to let this, I know this isn't a spoiler, but it kind of is. Please, if you are put off by the females in this first book, keep reading, because eventually along the way, more like really cool female characters come into play. But in this first one, Sam's like the only decent person, and all the rest of the girls are very catty, very materialistic, you know, very surface. And I hate that that all got put into the first book, because then I saw some reviews of people not wanting to move forward. On top of the fact that it's just confusing. Like, all of the girls have the most basic, like, Caucasian names that it's just like, coming from a girl named Taylor. But, you know, it takes one to know one. I can't keep up with the Stephanies, Megans, Courtneys. I can't think of which of them dated John, Josh, Adam. I couldn't keep up with that. But the main characters of Sam and then Mason and Logan, I'm like, are those? I've said them so many times because I've filmed this so many times that now I'm like, are those even their names? Anyways, that's a really great dynamic, and just them kind of learning to live with each other, because she doesn't have any siblings, let alone boys, and they've never had anybody kind of break up their dynamic duo, and so it's good. It's really good. So that's all I can really say about it, but let's get into the spoiler part, because I'm already 8 minutes into this. So. Okay, so I'm going to try to go back in the awful memory that is locked up here and remember this from the point of view of the first time I read this, because like I said, I've read this entire series multiple times, let alone this first book. I mean, who knows how many times I've actually read this first book. But I like legit thought that Logan and Sam were going to get together like on like a cash thing first. And then like maybe Mason was going to be like long game. Wrong. Was wrong about that. I love Logan and Sam's relationship because it shows a side of Logan that you don't normally get to see, because he doesn't care about many people in general, let alone females. I mean, he loves and respects his mom, but they have issues. And then he was burned so bad by his ex that it just like made him even like more lean into his personality of being like, you know, like a player, you know, a hoe pretty much. Which like no tea, no shade. Like do what you dig. And I do love that he was very honest about that, until he started not being honest about it. I didn't like the part where Logan was used as like a trick for multiple reasons. One, of course, I didn't like it for the female perspective. I was like, that's kind of, you know, that's messed up. But then Tajin writes it where it it makes you really think about the situation. I act like it's that deep. It like legit isn't. The whole thing is these girls that are getting into these situations are like cheating on their boyfriends and all this different kind of stuff. And it's, I mean, they're not doing anything that isn't consensual, because I definitely would not recommend or do a book chat about a book that's like that at all. But it just kind of shows that like everybody does bad stuff, and they play a lot in like the morally gray area when it comes to like how you should and shouldn't treat people, because they are so much about their group. And so it's like them three, and then of course Nathan, that it's like if it does not negatively affect them, then it gets put on a lower level of importance. And some may see that as being like really gross, which is totally valid. As someone that has had relationships similar to the one in this book, and I mean that in like a romantic and platonic way, that when people group together, especially out of like commonalities of trauma and wanting to feel safe, and those people are like strong-willed, that can get like very much like they are in this book, where it's like we're the only people that matter because no one else cared about us, so why should we care about other people? And so do I think that that's right? No. Do I think that it's common for somebody that age to think that? Yes, 100%. And so I don't know, I just really liked how Logan very much protects and has like a brotherly, sisterly bond with Sam, but then there's these moments where he like plays with the line of like wanting her romantically, and you can kind of tell that it's like he doesn't know the difference. He doesn't really know what it's like to like have genuine feelings for a girl and them not be romantic. I think that line gets blurred, and they play with that a lot in this book. And so then Sam is so hard-headed and so like, I do what I want, but then like bottles it all up and has these crazy breakdowns, and I'm like, me. I'm very much that way personally, and I started reading these books when I was a lot younger, and so that's why I've continued to read them. I do think if I pick these books up now, I would not feel the way I do about them, and y'all are probably like, you're rereading a book that you give a C+, but it's just because the characters themselves, and when I was younger, the similarities that I found with myself and my situation to the other characters. I'm very much like Sam, where it's like bottle it all up, and then you have these like crazy, just like complete and utter meltdowns. And then my husband is like a very like quiet and like not stoic, but like when he says something, it means something. He doesn't run his mouth like I do, which very much reminded me of Mason. And then my husband has a younger brother that's my age, or actually he's a little bit older than I am, and he reminds me so much of Logan. And so our dynamic looks so much like that one. And I actually moved out like 2 months after graduating, and all three of us lived together in an apartment. So like that like new dynamic of living together and stuff, just at the time when I read this, was like, oh my gosh, this is like not, I mean, it's not at all similar. It's not like, they're not my husband is not my stepbrother or anything, but like just their personalities reminded me so much of me, my brother-in-law, and then my husband. And so that's why I like really gravitate towards this story. I'm sure a lot of people are like, it's not that serious, but since I relate to it and see so much of myself, and then also later on in the other books, like my best friend and my best friend's husband and stuff like that, it just really is like, does Tajin know me and my friends? Like, and like put our personalities into like a different alternate dimension. I was kind of disappointed on Mason and Sam's relationship, just because I love a slow burn so much. Like, I love a slow burn. And I thought that's how this was going to be, and it was kind of set that up that way. And I just feel like they like got together so quick. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, it took the whole book. One book is not a slow burn. A short book at that. That's not slow burn. My favorite book series, we spent half the time thinking, half of the 6-book series, that the main characters were related to each other. So, I know a slow burn. I know a slow burn when I see one. There was that aspect that I wasn't, you know, as into, but I love Mason's character. I love how, like, he's such, like, a rock, and then only shares his, like, vulnerable side with a certain amount of people, and then only shows, like, his true self to Sam. And I know that it's, like, it shouldn't be that deep when they're that young, but they've had to grow up really fast because their parents are shitheads, and it's not like they haven't been, like, taken care of. Like, they had all their necessities, so it's not like an extreme situation, but they did have to deal with their whole lives, like, a lot of emotional and abuse and, like, manipulation. And actually Sam deals with even more than that when it comes to her mother. And so I feel like Mason was always trying to act like he was like Jack's teller all the time, and I just was like, is it that deep? And just wait, because I remember reading this and I was like, why is he acting like they're like the leader of some like gang or something, and like their lives are at risk or something? Just wait. And so other than that, I don't even want to get into the other characters because there's so many of them, and they are so irrelevant, really, because there's just too many of them. That's the whole thing. Maybe it's not even the number of them, but how they're introduced and how, like, quick it is. And I don't know, that just whole thing got so confusing to me. All the school drama, all that this person is dating this person, and they break up, and which happens in real life. But the thing is, when you're living that in real life, you know everybody, and that happens over a period of time, not like one page, these two people are dating, then you flip the page and now it's all messed up and you don't really know much about the characters enough to follow. That's the problem. But other than that, Mason, Sam, and Logan are the best trio ever. They are ride or die. So quick. And I love them, like, going from, like, hating her because it's like, this is like my dad's hoe's daughter, and she's like moving in our house, getting in our space, to all of a sudden being like, oh my god, she's one of us, like, and she does not want to use us for our, like, notoriety or whatever, if you can even have notoriety in high school. Like, you can be young and have notoriety, and, like, look at Zendaya, like, clearly we know that, but I'm just saying, like, actually in high school. But y'all, I mean, I'm from the South. People don't play games about these high schools, especially if you're a football player. They get serious down here. I don't know why, but they legit do. It's real serious. Like, real serious. So, anyways, this book ends kind of on a cliffhanger, kind of not. I think that this book was ended in a weird place, but I usually read through these so quick because I just read them on my phone. Like, I've been a fan of this book before it was even, like, published physically. Like, I was a fan of these books, like, when they were just ebooks. And I think I might have found out about these because Fall Crest High was, like, one of those free books that you could download on iBooks, like, way back in the day. I think that's how I found out about this book. I don't know. It's been a long time. Been a fan for a long time. She writes, like, young adult, new adult, paranormal romance, all the good trashy stuff that I love. And if you love to, I will leave a link in the description to the website where you can see all of the stuff that has been written. And there's, like, a book list, because this is one of those ebook series where it's like there's like 6 main books and like 14 novellas and all that. Y'all get what I'm saying. It's a mess, but it's a beautiful mess, and I'm gonna keep on being a part of it because I'm a mess. Anyways, I think that's it. That was probably a horrible wrap up, but this is like a really short book, and I need to get back to reading Arch Enemy so I can get those points up. So that is it for today. If you wouldn't mind going down there, you know, right down there, hitting that subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. Express yourself, alright? Also, this is my first video I've uploaded in June, I've just realized. So happy Pride Month to everyone. That Express Yourself just reminded me of that. So express yourself in all the ways possible, but be safe. I am not delusional, and I realize that sometimes expressing yourself puts yourself in danger. And so be safe, and I'm proud of you for expressing yourself even if it does put you in danger. And so sending all of my love to everyone, especially this month. And you can find all of my socials in the description. It'll be like my Instagram, my Twitter, my Goodreads, all that fun stuff down below. And go follow me on there. Chat with me. This is going to be a crazy reading month. BookCon and Book Expo just got done. And so the book community, we're out here chatting. It is serious. Most of that is going on over on Twitter. So please follow me. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will be uploading my weekly updates for the Biblio games, and then also I'm trying to see if I have enough footage from my family reunion to do like a cute little like Gulf Shores vlog. Not that y'all care anything about that, but this channel is called Books and Boarding Passes. Even though I did drive, I didn't get on a plane, but that's beside the point. So stay tuned for that, and let me know down below like your guilty pleasure book. I want to know, because I will read them. Put it down below. Please let me know. I just want to know what y'all are reading. Because this is like my biggest guilty pleasure book. I'm not guilty about it. I literally don't care. It's like proud. But let me know what yours is down below. And until next time, do what you dig. Bye, guys.